And welcome to Naija Diamonds. My name is Moa Budu. I'm the creator and the executive producer of the show. As Nigeria turns 50, we at Inspire Africa, in partnership with our sponsors Diamond Bank, couldn't think of a better way to celebrate our 50th anniversary than to showcase and feature Nigeria's unsung heroes. In order to do this, we have asked Nigerians to nominate people who are heroes in their own eyes. After getting lots of nominations, we finally selected 36 of the strongest stories from all over Nigeria and have chosen to tell them over 6 episodes. Each episode will feature 6 Naija diamonds. Please sit back and watch as we feature diamond after diamond that have impacted our community positively. Enjoy the show.
In whatever situation, no matter the burden, we'll always be there for you. Through our dedication to transparency and reliability, you can rely on us every step of the way. That's our promise. Diamond Bank. When no one seems to care. When no one seems to understand. There's someone who cares. That's Diamond Bank. Through our dedication to professionalism and innovation, you can rely on us every step of the way. That's our promise. Diamond Bank.
I'm Ramat Hassan Mohammed, and I'm the founder of the Foundation for Women's Health, Research and Development. We call it Forward Nigeria in Dambata, Kano. VVF is a short for vesico-vaginal fistula. The fistula is like a hole between the vagina and the bladder, which is caused during, mostly it is obstetric fistula, is caused during childbirth. So when the baby eventually comes out, in most cases the baby is dead, of course. So the woman gets up after days of losing the baby and finds herself leaking with urine. And that could be very devastating. And of course she smells. And if a woman is going to be menstruating, also it's even going to be worse. So they go through, a very terrible, state. So I asked myself, instead of sitting down and judging the government, why is the government not doing this? Why are women dying because they are having babies? Why are they having fistula, So I decided, why not do something? Well, Forward Nigeria generally takes care of maternal health. And because you cannot address the issue of women or maternal health without children, so we also do child health as well. But our focus in the past 10 years has been on reproductive health, which is the issue of the vesico-vaginal fistula. So basically what we do to the women is to bring them to a center in Lamberta, keep them there for 6 months. First of all, we do some sort of rehabilitation for them via counseling and rehabilitating them physically, as well as psychologically because of the trauma they've gone through in the past.
Here, when the girls come in, we give them literacy lessons in both Islamic and Western education.
Ƙungiyar mata musulmi ita ce ta kawo ni nan gida wadda ake ce mata Konwa, kuma shekara 6 kenan. Ina koya musu karatu da rubutu.
I'm working in Forward Nigeria. I'm teaching English language as well as I am teaching under animal husbandry.
Yes. Why? Then they are given surgery. They are also taught skills.
Na zo gurin na misalin shekara 8 da suka shige. Na zo a cikin larura kuma Allah ya sauwaƙe an man aiki na samu lafiya.
Yanzu dai lokacin da aka kawo nan ba ni da lafiya. Aka yi mana aiki na sami sauƙi. Aka koya mana sana'o'i da karatu.
We continue to, give them that rehabilitation whereby they become confident, gain back their self-esteem before we send them back to their villages. They learn a lot at the center, so rehabilitation is both physical and mental.
Bayan da na samu lafiya, na zo gida na haifi ɗana, namiji yana na. Na koyi ɗinki a can. Da na koya kuma, ni ma sai aka na ba da kuɗi na kaɗan-kaɗan, har na sami keken nan aka bani. Ni ma kuma yanzu na zo gida ina yin wannan ɗinki.
Dan mutumin da zai rike ka shekara guda, ya baka magani, ya baka abinci, ya baka sutura. Ka tahi tafiya a lauki jari a baka. Alhamdulillah, idan Allah ya saka mata da alheri.
We call this aspect of the rehabilitation curative because they have already got the VVF. Then after they must have graduated and gone back home, we still visit and see how they are doing in their community.
My position in this place is to take care of the client when they are being admitted here, then to be part of the doctor during their operation in the theater. Then after that, I take their nursing care here in the ward. Then we give them all that they know about health matters so that they will be aware of anything that related to the health in their community.
Now, in order to prevent VVF from occurring, we now send our officers, like our CHUs, that is community health workers, to go around to the villages and mobilize the pregnant women.
The motivation is to see, for me to change something, to see a smile on these girls' faces. After, when they come, they are like, powerless, lost their self-esteem, and they feel they don't want even to come close to you. And within 2 months of their stay at the center, they're looking up at me and actually trying to have a debate with me about, what their life is going to be. And that is like, wow, that motivates me to do more.
She has been doing this thing since she was in the school. She's helping the sisters, the brothers, the elder people, everybody. She likes everybody most, that is why.
And I think she really brought out what I didn't think I have in me. I used to be a class teacher, a school administrator. But then once she introduced me to this work of VVF, I was all for it.
There is something which is calling cut and paste in computer. So she cut me from the village and she pasted me in the city. She wants somebody to get knowledge. That is why she is entering the village, getting some people which government will not help them much. And now she is helping them.
At the beginning, I had challenges in people even agreeing that it is possible that these women can be cured, especially at the rural areas, that they can be cured and be human beings and reintegrated back into their communities. So it was like people were not very comfortable with that sort of intervention. It is like, their thinking is going to be like, we're going to bring in family planning campaign, and where I work is, people don't want to, listen to issues like that. So there was sort of suspicion at the beginning. Also, we have challenges, of course, of funding. Most of the time, we have to write to international governments, international NGOs, write lots of proposals. Maybe you write 20 proposals and get one funding, And, for the past 10 years, it has been really challenging to get the project going.
To Dr. Rahmat, nothing is impossible if you put your mind to do, especially as far as this project is concerned.
So what we will focus on, the service we can provide is the service for those who have fistula, and as we know that if they come, we can give them the services. But the other things like prevention, there's limits to how much we can go out to do that. We try, and people come, but there's a little we can provide for them. The future plan is very interesting and very exciting because for me it's continuation of the project till we see the last case of VVF in Kano State and probably Nigeria as we can.
In whatever situation, no matter the burden, we'll always be there for you. Through our dedication to transparency and reliability, you can rely on us every step of the way. That's our promise. Diamond Bank.
Imagine you were a child and you had to walk to school on bare feet. Or what if you had shoes and they were all bedroom sleepers?
One day, God just spoke to our heart that we do need to do something about young kids who go to school barefooted or in bedroom slippers. And that was the day actually. I was going to Abeokuta and I saw the school was actually on break, but it was as if I saw some kids in school playing football and two young girls holding themselves and walking out from the school, one wearing sandals and the other one barefooted. And that was what I saw. And throughout the meeting I attended in Abeokuta, that was what was ringing on my mind. And when I got home, I told my wife that we need to do something. That was around November last year.
Initially, we were surprised. But I can remember vividly, there was a time I was in India, and the first day I got there, I saw a boy walking barefooted.
She said, yes, we should do something about it. We left it. And around December, my kids started disturbing us. Actually came back with a picture of a student who went to school barefooted.
I felt so bad that, how can someone be going to school without shoes? I've not seen such a thing before. It's a strange thing to me. I always imagine going to school, going to school in sand, barefooted without sandals. How I'll feel. My friends be laughing at me. Then the sun, scorching sun on my leg. Then sometimes stones, nails, harmful objects on the floor. So I told my dad that, Dad, what can we do to help these students?
They started disturbing us that we're not going to do something. I said, okay, don't worry. So we spoke to God and God helped us.
The Ose twins are a vivid example of how Pastor Akinlesi's kindness touches the lives of the children and their families.
The day we went to their school, that's Christ Church Primary School, School 2, Italakbo in Ijebode. They were not in school. And we gave the sandals out to some other students. Some of the teachers told us that we should please give this particular set of twins the sandals. I said, we don't know them. We don't know their sizes. So the teachers told us that they should use this particular kind of size and all that. So we gave them the sandals. We left the sandals for them. And they also told us that they have not been able to pay some bills. So we paid those bills. About a week or two after, I just drove into that school to just find out how those kids are doing. I don't know them, so let me even see them. And I found out that they didn't come to school. So I was surprised. So I told them I would want to see their parents.
He asked one teacher to show him the house. And they took him to the house.
We now asked them, I hope they have been wearing the sandals. And the mother said no, that they've not been wearing the sandals. I was shocked. I said, why? They said they kept them. And that where the sandals were kept, if anybody gets there, they would tear the person into pieces. We didn't buy the sandals for them to keep. They said, well, they kept the sandals because they want to put on the sandals when they now have uniform. So that everything, according to them, will be new. I said, so when are you buying the uniform for them? The parents said, they also have their ego. So they said, don't worry, we will buy. So I said, it's okay. So I went to the kids to drop the teacher to the kids' school. When I got there, I called the kids and I saw them. My God, they were in rags. Right there on the spot, I told the teachers that, is it possible to get uniform for these kids? They said they don't have, but there's somebody who can help us get. So I paid for the uniform. I told them to get a set for them, 2 sets each for them, so that when one is dirty, they can always put another one on.
He was able to feature them with dresses regarding to their school uniform, as well as dresses. He gave them money. And if I'm not mistaken, he includes some food on that day.
Today, they are happy kids, very happy young people.
Then I know he's a man of God and the Spirit of God is in him.
I dey on joy. If I see my children, I dey joy. If I see pastor, I dey joy, because the wonderful when he make for my life, I never experienced it since when I did this, when I travel from my home reach here.
Pastor Rotimi Akinlesi is a very nice man.
He's a kind man. He carries a level of compassion for humanity that is awesome.
Honest,
wonderful.
He's very loving.
He prays for people.
One of the challenges we have is that of fund. Like I said, my wife and I, we are civil servants. So basically, we draw the funds from our salaries. Our future plans is to now strategize and see how we can raise a platform for ourselves that will be able to help. I also found out that a lot of people out there who have the money, perhaps they don't know who they can give it to, who will not embezzle it, who will not cut corners. Perhaps if we make them see all these things, they might be of help and will be able to reach out to more people.
God will reward him, bless him, plenish his purse.
Between December 2009, and today we've been able to give out about 214.
The students were really happy that in their own lifetime, they can have sandals to wear to school. It was such a thing of joy to the students.
They would smile, some of them would jump. One day, one of these kids will wake up and say, look, when I was in school, somebody did this to me. I think I can do that too. That will make me happy.
According to my dad, he says, if you look at your need,
you won't be able to meet the needs of other people.
I can't change the world because it's too big for me. So there is a sector of the world that I'm actually here to change, and I'm not going to be leading wars or anything, but I'm going to be changing the world using words, which is what I've been given. I was born according to the stories now, I was born at 27 weeks, weighing about 1 kg. Which was, well, another death sentence in the mid-80s.
We had to leave her in the hospital. The mother had to press breast milk, leave it behind, hoping that if she comes tomorrow morning, if she's still alive, so be it. If she's not, too bad.
Doctors had given up and had said, well, she's not going to survive, so there's no point. But somehow, my parents were like, we're going to have to see this to the end, so leave her in an incubator and let's see what happens.
I said, if she waits for 7 days and she has a name, she will not die. And so to the glory of God, on the 7th day, I went to call the pastor, and we got there, and the pastor was asking me, where is the child we have come to name? And I said, look at the child, inside the incubator.
The joy of the fact that I survived was enough for them. So for a long time, they didn't even check to realize that I wasn't doing the things that normal kids are supposed to be doing at specific ages. But by the time I was about 20 months and I could not sit, my mom got worried and said, okay, now this is odd.
We didn't quite realize that she had this problem until it was time for her to walk. She couldn't walk, so she was going around the whole house with her buttocks.
Aside from lying down to crawling on my buttocks to finally learning at the age of 12 to put my feet on the ground. Now, that took some excruciating pain. Getting an education was a whole story for another day, which took a lot of determination from me and a lot of support from a very great network of friends and family that continually said to me, you can do this and you can do great things.
I made up my mind that I was never going to treat her as somebody who has a disability.
Not only did they throw me in school, even when I had to go to school in diapers at the age of 5, they left me in school, got me all the support that I needed, and actually learned to give me chores, adapt house chores to my specific situations so that I felt just like every normal child in the house.
The day she was being taken to school, she left home on her buttocks. And I got her to school for International. She came out of the car with her buttocks.
People are shocked to find out I went to boarding school and I actually spent 3 years in boarding school, and my parents said to me, stay there and learn to adapt to the situation.
Schools that she went to were not special schools. You know, they were schools that every other person, and she came out tops. She was determined to succeed in that school because it was quite tedious.
In the long run, actually, you know, it made me a really strong person, because by the time I got into the university, I couldn't go from home. So here goes staying on campus with my mates and getting all the chairs and everything.
I realized that a lot of our universities, the infrastructural situation might be too challenging for her. A lot of the universities don't have water supply, and where they get water is so far away and things like that. So I know that's why I settled for a private university.
University was a different, in fact, it was a different ballgame entirely.
But the first time, actually, somebody says to me, why do you want to study law? And I say, well, I see a lot of injustice and I want them to be righted. And he goes to me and says, if it was up to me, and he actually says to me to my face, if it was up to me, I wouldn't give you admission into this school. And I look at him and I say, why? And he says, because I think you cannot survive a semester. This school does not have the terrain for people with your peculiarity. I actually am stumped, but I actually say in my mind, watch me.
She chose a career that most people with disabilities will not choose.
First day of school, I come out of my hostel and walk to class, and people come out of their hostels to line the streets to stare at me. It was unnerving.
I think she handled that well.
And somehow, I guess it just gave me more fuel to go on and say, well, you guys are going to watch me spend 5 years here and graduate.
She went for youth corps like every other person, if you ask her. I never allowed her in her head to think she is not normal.
When I met her dad, I shook his hand. I said, wow, you guys, you did a wonderful job.
Almost immediately, she furnished. I got her to serve on the steering committee of the Vision 2020.
I got there, and they say, well, there are 3 groups being inaugurated today: youth, women, and persons with disabilities. And I guess because I never had the mindset of a person with a disability, the first group I went to was women. I was actually looking for my name. I didn't find it, and I still didn't go to persons with disabilities. I went straight to youth. I still didn't find it, and I figured, okay, maybe there was a mistake. And then somebody says to me, everyone looks at me and says, check the persons with disabilities list. And I look at the person like, I'm not one of those people. And the person says, just check. And I check and I find my name on the list, and I'm actually pissed.
Her parents had a key role to play in, kind of making her feel there's nothing wrong with me per se.
Right from day one, I refused to see her as disadvantaged. I refused to treat her as a disadvantaged, and so we never treated her as a disadvantaged person.
And I've been able to use, to my God's grace, my own experiences now in my work in MADEC to actually encourage others who are in the same shoes or sometimes in worse shoes than I was, and let them understand that, look, if I could do it, then anybody can.
There are times I tell her that, there are things you do that I'm not sure I can do.
You see, you look at me now and you go, wow, she's done a lot. But there was actually a time I actually did succumb to self-pity, which will, and I try to tell people, it will happen. Because the truth is, no matter how hard you try, it is going to occur to you someday that there are just some things I cannot do.
Did I ever feel pity for her? The only thing I can say she had that I wouldn't want to be in her shoes about was the discrimination she got from people. Because when she meets people and the first thing they're like, oh, she's handicapped. But nobody wants to be seen that way.
For those of us that actually, by God's grace, have been able to get out of, the whole stigma surrounding this disability issue, it's a big thing, and this is actually the time to get others out of, because there's a thinking to it that even if you're not careful, people are going to make you start thinking less of yourself.
She's giving hope to a lot of people.
You can come to me today and tell me, I feel like killing myself, and I'm going to tell, the next question I'm going to ask you is, how many ways have you considered? The only reason I can ask you that question is because I've been there. I know what it's like to wake up in the morning and say, you know what, I'm tired of life.
She's been contributing to a lot of lives in her own little way.
So I think I'm going to be working with a lot of counseling parents of children living with disabilities and actually getting them to change their mindsets and the things they say about their children and the lives that their children are going to live.
I believe she has all it takes to make a change in this country.
I see her, in the international world.
The best way to live a great life is to keep focused on the things you know how to do best.
In whatever situation, no matter the burden, we'll always be there for you. Through our dedication to transparency and reliability, you can rely on us every step of the way. That's our promise. Diamond Bank. When no one seems to care, when no one seems to understand. There's someone who cares. That's Diamond Bank. Through our dedication to professionalism and innovation, you can rely on us every step of the way. That's our promise. Diamond Bank.
We are sitting down and looking at a problem. We are going through economic hardship in Nigeria, whether we like it or not. And we who deliver service, particularly health, have to think of innovative ways of bringing down the cost, but at the same time, giving good quality and having good outcomes. I graduated 30 years ago. And even when I was in the medical school, right from the time, even before going to medical school, I knew I was going to be a children's doctor.
She was a very young doctor then, and she has passion for children.
I had everything. I could virtually say I was born with a silver spoon. I felt I always had to put it back, to give back to my society. And in helping to keep children alive, in helping to increase parents' health-seeking behavior, I felt I was giving back.
And I remember Dr. Dosekun when she was in Lagos University Teaching Hospital. Even when drugs are not available, she carries her bag, she goes to the shop, buy the medicine to give to the patient at her cost.
I run a 30-bed children's hospital in the Festac town.
Outreach has come to Festac community to engage with the parents. It's not a stand-alone practice where we are just waiting for the mothers to come here when their children are sick. What we're seeking to do, we are really reaching out to the community, engaging the community, and getting the parents to know and treat us as family.
Several people would have looked at this kind of a project and say, no, I can't do this alone, but that did not discourage her. She had that burden in her heart to cause a change.
The facilities we have in this little hospital, government hospital cannot provide it.
And I'm working with the local government, with the state government, with other providers of healthcare to create a better outcome for our children. I would say the model for outreach is one where we're trying to give affordable health, because parents will not access care in Nigeria as it is with the economic harshness if it's not affordable.
We invite the parents, we take discussions on topics relating to children. It could be anything from infectious diseases in children to improving the care of sick children.
Now, at the same time as being affordable, we must give good quality health, because we must have a sense of shame in Nigeria for the shabbiness in which we deliver service.
She's not particular about money. Her first priority is just to save the children, save the children.
In other hospitals, if you go, the first thing they will ask is money, bribery. But there is, at least, God used her to, God knows why she brought her into this Nigeria, into this country. God knows why she came back.
So we are motivated to, in spite of the fact that it's affordable, we have to create a model where it is still good quality with anticipated good outcomes. Now that is a very difficult combination to do.
What drives her primarily is to cause change. She's so displeased with the death figures that concerns children, and she's like, why should children die?
All the parents that have come here have been very happy to know that a facility like this can be brought to their area, and they've really welcomed us and encouraged us.
We have different models of treating our patients. Sometimes instead of keeping them in here, because they live close to the hospital, we send them home and they come back for treatment on a daily basis. I had 2 children with special needs, and that sort of like gave me a sense, what I would say, empathy, that I would identify with people who are going through pain and suffering and uncertainty.
The work my mom does in the hospital is great.
She does not want to hear that babies are dying or they are handicapped because of jaundice, and she provided all the things to cure jaundice.
As we enter, they didn't even consider money, the money. They carry the baby, attend to the baby, take care of the baby.
She went to the politicians to tell them how they can improve the hospital in the country and how they can bring those they cannot help to our vicinity because we have the facilities.
We are working now with with the insurance sector in how we can have a community-based insurance where you pay a small premium every month. A large collective body of children pay a small premium every month, and this entitles them to outpatient care, inpatient care for 3 days, and emergency care. We've looked after a few premature babies, and they've done very well.
And then when the mothers bring them back for follow-up, and you need to see the joy in their faces.
She is saving life of the children to provide future leader.
A few of my equipments have been blown out of existence, money wasted, and the capacity of our workers' attitude has been a bit of a challenge, but what I would now convert this again to a success in that within 2 months we have created so much change in terms of the knowledge, the skills, the attitude of the health workers that are working with us. And if you can do that in 2 months, can you imagine what is going to happen?
I see a situation where the child mortality rate in Nigeria will reduce drastically.
She believes in prayer and she prays, all the time. Even when we started, she didn't limit herself to the community. She reached the community even through the churches.
Whatsoever she is doing, she will say that keep on praying to God. All her focus was on God.
Every human being is a special gift to creation and should be treated as such.
And today I'm going home with my baby. There is no testimony that is more than this.
Dr. Tosekun is a competent pediatrician, energetic, ready to do, and doing doctor.
Professional to the core.
She's like a mother to everybody.
My mom is very kind and she's loving.
She's got together a group of staff, people who believe in the vision, and she's trying to make it change.
Our future plans to be able to move out to communities, particularly what I would call peri-urban communities. And from here, we will develop health teams and we transplant to needy areas.
What is important, it's not the wealth, it is the legacy that you leave behind.
We start first with Lagos, but it is our prayer that we will spread throughout Nigeria and make an impact on the health of the children.
I personally pray for every day that God should bless her, even as she has set out to become a blessing to the children around her.
I pray for my mom to have a good life.
We live a short life, and what is important is the legacy we leave behind.
It's not what you don't have that limits you. It's what you have, but you don't know how to use.
I saw a man who was just selfless, a man who was able to sacrifice, a man who was able to give service to his friend, a man who was able to give service to someone else.
But whatever you believe in, you can achieve. Whatever you set your mind to do, you can achieve. There isn't really any goal that is too high, as long as you put your mind to it, as long as you believe God to lead you.
I have the distinction of perhaps being a 2-time college dropout.
What? Dropped out from school?
I dropped out of school, the University of Benin, when I was studying industrial mathematics in my third year.
I was shocked at first because I couldn't believe it. He was already very successful and he was known in many places. I'm like, I couldn't place the two together. But
I was being victimized in school.
I was just coming into school, and I was coming with the expectation that he was going to groom me, he was going to bring me up.
There began a cycle of challenges for me because I had low self-esteem. I tried to get back into school. I couldn't get into school.
I remember when he told me he was going to write JAMB again.
he was very calm and always attentive in class because we were in JAMB lessons together.
But I did gain admission into a university called Madonna sometime in 2004, early 2005, and I only stayed there 7 months. I was staying with my parents. My younger sister had gotten a job. She started giving me an allowance. She started paying me to be her brother, as the case may be. I couldn't get any employment in any way. There was nobody who was willing to hire a college dropout. So I began to volunteer my services to anyone who literally might have me. I volunteered at my church. And Pastor Femi Paul gave me great confidence in myself, and I built my self-esteem. I served also with a fantastic gentleman by the name of Charles Otudor. I found my way here at Visible Impact, where I served Fela Durotoye.
Our mission is to build leaders and develop leaders who will, in turn, develop the nation, Nigeria, into the world's most desirable nation. These are going to be people, leaders of excellence in all spheres of their lives. And our job is to raise those leaders in the private sector, in the public sector, at every stage and at every age. So starting from cradle all the way to the grave.
And Fela Durotoye was speaking, and I was listening to him, and something told me that this is what you're supposed to be doing. Now, I
just stayed from where I was. I just looked at him and said, Harris, we've got something to do together. That's what God said to me. I don't know what it is, but you go and pray about it and then come back and let's talk.
The first and foremost, I had to identify where on earth I wanted to be. I had to identify what my purpose was.
We think you're great because of the things you've done, but we really know you're great because of what you've done in the life of somebody else.
Identify yourself, get a role model who is a picture of your future, and surround yourself with people that inspire you. That's it.
I think that one of the greatest days of my life was when I got a call from Harris's dad, and he was just thanking me and going on and on and on, and then maybe a few days later his mom called me.
One of the greatest opportunities of my life came sometime this year, where I was invited back to the University of Benin to speak to the final year students.
Now, Dike was someone who hadn't completed final year, coming back to talk to guys about how they can do it.
People are looking for desirables. They're not looking for availables.
Truth be told, I think the greatest impact Harris has made on my life is the ability for you to find a way to not just groom someone else's skills, but to also groom the person's character.
Steve Harris is a very intelligent person.
He's very versatile.
He likes to go out of his way to make others comfortable.
And he's just one incredible human being to me.
I really do believe he deserves to be a Naija diamond, because there are very few people who can go through what he has gone through and still remain standing.
I am truly blessed, to be, honored like this, but I do not think I deserve it. So always be desirable, never be.
Impossible is nothing, and therefore nothing is impossible.
My goal is just to inspire hope in people, everybody I meet, one person at a time.
Harris, if he wasn't a diamond, I would have called him a shining star.
Truly, my mess has become my message, and it's very exciting. It's a lot of fun, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
I was teaching somewhere in Ikeja, so I got bored of Lagos. It was crowded. When you get to Onipa and then Pangu, area boys, so I just felt I don't want to stay in Lagos again.
When Love Oladele moved to Abuja, she couldn't get a job as a teacher. She decided to start a small business selling recharge cards.
I moved to Abuja in the year 2003, so I started looking for a teaching job. And at that time, Teachers Education Council started this thing of you must have education qualification before you can be in the classroom. So I couldn't get a job. I needed to go and do my PGD in education if I want to teach. So that very year I went to NYSC because I studied part-time. I couldn't get my letter of exemption. So I decided to start a phone call business.
Transitions with John Digweed in the mix.
I started my recharge card business. This is how I started. Then after about a few months, I employed some staff.
Though she started her business small, Love believed that she was headed for something bigger than an umbrella and a table by the side of the road.
Lights of brigades and all that, they are entrepreneurs that exploit their entrepreneurial skills, and you find out they are somewhere today.
And as the brigade said, soon there will be two types of business persons, those doing business online and those out of business. So I said, wow.
As a businesswoman, she did not want to be out of business anytime soon.
So I decided to go and learn computer. I went to computer school. Since I already had staff, I left. I would leave in the morning. I go to computer school for 6 months.
Her determination and motivation led her to spend hours, days, and months acquiring knowledge.
So I started learning how to also sell things online. You know, internet business is easy to have multiple streams of income.
Today, through seminars, Love has become a motivator to many young people who have found themselves where she was years ago.
My seminars mostly are free, so I teach them, just go and do this thing. You can make money with this. Then I actually try to teach people information marketing because I believe everybody has information to sell.
She has a lot to offer. She has so many books she has written.
The book was what really threw me out, and I really have a lot to tell about the book.
You know, other people conduct seminars, they charge a lump sum amount of money, and when you get for that seminar, you go back with nothing. But her seminar, she made it in a way that everybody should come and learn free of charge.
As a matter of fact, you agree with me that we cannot benefit from a seminar wholeheartedly. It will give you an idea, and it is that idea you build upon.
So everybody has something or information to sell. So in all, I've imparted like 1,000 lives with my seminar. But after then, some people want to come for training, like website design, you can't do it in one day.
I thought it was going to be all about website designing, but I was able to get something wider than that.
You could learn other skills.
We were taught about information marketing,
blog design, web hosting,
and I ventured into bulk SMS.
She also taught me how to print a recharge card and sell.
So for such training, I think I've done like about 40 or 50 persons for website designing, blog design, web hosting, and domain registration. So the first seminar I did in Abuja, when I came to Abuja, when I started writing and when I finished learning this, the first seminar I did, I lost about 200,000. So in fact, it was tough, really tough for me. I didn't have money, the little savings I even have, then I'm losing it again. So my husband I don't want to hear anything about seminar again. Don't even come to tell me you were doing The next one I did after the first one, I didn't let him know. It was like I finished the seminar, I finished everything I told him. And that one was successful.
You agree with me today that Nigeria is pouring out a lot of graduates, and going to school is not really a yardstick, or even coming out with a good grade.
Because they cannot give all of us job.
Start with what you have.
I was able to get the technical knowledge on how to start immediately.
I'm trying everything possible to see how I can be on my own.
A lot of people are out there, they don't know how to do business. I'm going to teach people the skills of business. How not to lose out when you lose your money. How not to, it's not the end of the world. How to do business with integrity.
In life, for you to move to the next level, you must encounter an opportunity. And that opportunity is via information. And it was the information I got that gave me that opportunity to discover myself.
Many of the people who have passed through her seminars say that their lives have taken a new dimension since they met her.
I have my own business now registered with CAC in Abuja, and it's even running just through this woman.
What I thought was actually impossible for me to do, I began to see that it just opened itself to me.
As you can see now, my status has changed.
She's a sent woman.
Don't keep waiting for the job. Get yourself busy. Start doing something.
Some people are out to deceive, but some people are out to encourage. She's out to encourage. She's out to contribute for the growth of this country.
You must achieve what you have come for.
Love Oladile's enthusiasm for teaching is what inspires many of the things she does. This is why her plans for the future include establishing a training institute for the people she calls tomorrow's leaders.
I could be the change I want to see. I've not learned that I could be the change agent. My plans for the future, I've said some of them. I would like to start my training institute. In fact, I'm already writing a business plan on that. What I just need now is to have enough resources to just expand what I do.
She's out to impart life. She's out to make change. And I believe when you impart life, when you give people what they need, I think God will bless you, and that person will also be blessed.
So my motivation is just to be a change agent, to be a blessing to my generation, impart my generation, do my own bit, and leave the rest to God. That's just my motivation. This is just the beginning. I know my hair will be better than this. God says it, I believe it, and that settles it.
If any of the stories that you have seen today have touched you, and if you would therefore like to make a difference in the lives of any of our diamonds, in cash or kind, please visit www.naijadiamonds.com for direct access to all the Naija Diamonds on the show today. Thank you so much for watching.